McKenzie. They're demanding answers after the ABC obtained documents showing how highly politicised the process was in handing out taxpayer money. It's led to further calls for Senator Bridget McKenzie to go, but for now she's standing firm. Political reporter Stephanie Boris has more from Canberra.
So this Excel spreadsheet that the ABC has obtained comes from a spreadsheet that the then Sports Minister Bridget McKenzie's office drew up, and it shows essentially the thinking behind how the grants were handed out. It includes the ranking that Sport Australia gave to every application. Sport Australia was tasked with looking at how meritorious each application was, and the thinking was behind it: if a club got above 74, they were worthy of getting this funding. However, this Excel spreadsheet is very much colour-coded, and the colour coding relates to where exactly these applications came from, whether it was a Liberal, a Labor, National or an independent seat, and that very much helped decide where the grants ended up going. And this spreadsheet very much backs what the Auditor General reports said, that essentially while Sport Australia was outlining which grants should be handed out, the Sport Minister's office was running what was known as a parallel process, looking at the location of these grants. Now, as I mentioned, Sport Australia deemed anything meritorious above the score of 74 out of 100. This spreadsheet showing that there were many clubs applying that got figures in the 80s and 90s but received no funding at all from this federal grants program. The ABC has spoken to a number of the clubs who've missed out, all very much disappointed. This is the first time they've actually seen the fact that they were considered meritorious in receiving some funding. There is a soccer club based in the Victorian electorate of Bendigo. They got a rating within the 80s, and their president is demanding answers from the government as to why they missed out.
Now that it's come to light that we received a score of 87 out of 100 and weren't successful, it's absolutely devastated a lot of people that were involved in that process. And it's just hard for the people to accept that we went through the process. Sport Australia ranked us as one of the top 20, but we've been knocked back due to bureaucracy, if you want to put it that way, or political gain.
So, Steph, this auditor's report was released a week or more ago, and there have been multiple senior ministers stand up and be questioned about this process and defend this process, even though the auditor had revealed that it was highly politicised. How's the government responding now?
Well, one government minister said that he will be seeking answers for one of the clubs in his electorate. Darren Chester is based in Victoria. In his electorate of Gippsland, there was a roller derby club that received a rating in the high 90s but didn't get any funding at all. He said he will meet with that club today and try and get some answers as to why they didn't receive any of that $100 million up for offer. In terms of an official response from the Sport Minister now is Richard Colbeck. He hasn't addressed any of the concerns that have been raised over the past few weeks. He simply released a statement saying that he wants to find out who has leaked these documents that were given to the ABC. Quite astonishing, considering the amount of information that's come to light since going through these details. Furthermore, the ABC has also obtained emails showing that Sport Australia raised concerns about the process and whether it was even fair. Now, Bridget McKenzie hasn't commented any further on what the ABC has obtained, citing the fact that there is, of course, that other investigation going on at the moment by the Secretary of the Prime Minister and Cabinet. He's looking into whether any ministerial breaches occurred during this process.
And so the Prime Minister is going to make this major address today, setting the scene, he hopes, for this year of 2020. But he is going to face question after question after question on this sports grant scheme.
Indeed. The first question obviously is whether he stands by Bridget McKenzie and whether she should go. His answer in the past has simply been to say that he's waiting for this report by the Secretary of Prime Minister and Cabinet to come back. But the other question for him is, can he assure the public that other grant processes in the future will be fair and the right groups receive it? The Prime Minister, though, obviously wanting to focus on talking about the economy, also tackling climate change and how to handle bushfire crises into the future.
Stephanie Boris there.